Welcome to today's session on place of supply, an important topic, both international and domestic, both place of supply are part of your syllabus. Uh, just be aware of domestic place of supply with complete control. International supply will be automatic. And just a small recap of what we have discussed earlier on this topic. We have completed domestic place of supply for goods. We'll do a little recap of that quickly and then come back towards a complete discussion on place of supply for services. Coming back here, place of supply for goods is concerned, it is handled by Section 10. Section 10 of IGST Act discuss about place of supply. When it comes to goods, yes, Section 10 plays a very important role in determining your place of supply. Hope I'm audible to all of you. Yes, and you could able to see the screen shares and all. Kindly confirm me. For the last 2 days, there are some challenges on this grounds. Yeah, thank you. So, coming back here, as part of this discussions relating to place of supply, broadly it is classified into five types. Let me repeat. Broadly, it is classified into five types. When goods involves movement, when goods are billed to one location, delivered to another location. Let me repeat, billed to one location, delivered to another location, called as bill to ship to. When goods does not involve movement, where goods are assembled or installed, or in case of onboard conveyance. Now let me repeat it. All five instances, place of supply going to be different. If goods involves movement, the place where the movement terminates for delivery, that will become place of supply. So where your movement is going to terminate for delivery, that will become place of supply. My goods involves movement, but unfortunately, goods are delivered to one location, but the fellow who gave instructions is another location. If that be the case, then the place of supply will be the place the person who has given instruction, on whose instruction the goods goes, the place where the goods are going to be billed, that will become place of supply. When goods does not involve movement, already I stored in a warehouse here, I am selling along with the warehouse. Already it is a rented warehouse, I'm not able to do the business. There is a fellow who is interested in taking the warehouse on rent and also the goods. Call them, take. When goods does not involve movement, the place where the goods are located, that would become place of supply. In case of assembling or installation of goods, the place where the goods are installed or assembled. In case of onboard conveyance, the place where the goods are taken on board. So these are going to be place of supply when it comes to goods. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of all these discussions. And something will go in your mind, sir, if a transaction is not covered by all five, don't be bothered. Government may prescribe the method of determining place of supply. In my view, very rare. Every goods involves movement. Your first entry will take care almost all in this goods industry. So coming back here, That was section 10 for us. Determination of place of supply other than export or import. If goods exported to foreign country, goods imported from foreign country, maybe section 10 is not applicable because exclusively section 10 address transaction that happens within India. Sir, where you are getting all that information? Export means taking goods from a place in India to a place outside India. Import means taking goods from a place outside India to a place into India. So anything other than import, export or import, when you supply emphasize to the heading, which means a place of supply of goods which is going to happen within India is going to be covered over here. So having said that is what is going to be covered, and we have just briefed relating to transactions of place of supply. Quickly we will take one or two questions. Quickly we will take one or two questions, reconfirm our understanding on this topic relating to place of supply of goods. SIIR is a government department. SIIR is a government department where SIIR takes on board takes on board goods in a conveyance, goods in a conveyance at Bangalore, Karnataka. SIIR office is located in SIIR office is located in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and the supplier of goods was located in Bangalore, Karnataka. The place of supply for such transaction. Determine place of supply. SIIR is a government department. It takes on boards in a conveyance at Bangalore, Karnataka. SIIR office is located in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. And the supplier of the goods was located in Bangalore, Karnataka. Determine place of supply for this transaction. Good, 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 good. So, yes, all of you all right. Now, good. For the same transaction, can all of you update what is going to be the nature of supply? Quickly, nature of supply will be intrastate supply, interstate supply, intra, inter. Yes. Hope when you write an exam question, you will highlight it. Location of supplier so and so place. Location of recipient. Sorry. location of supplier so and so place of supply is like that. Hence, as per so and so, it would be treated as intrastate, interstate supply. It would be treated as intrastate supply. Deepthi, uh, Ja- Janani, Deepthi, check your answer. It should be intrastate supply. Location of supplier is Karnataka. Place of supply is again Karnataka. So it would be intrastate supply. But very interesting to note, the recipient is located in any case. See, your exam question will definitely be like this only. Merely if you look the transaction, you get a feeling it is interstate supply. But I think now, after understanding place of supply, after integrating your understanding of place of supply with nature of supply, section 7 and 8 of IGST Act, I'm sure you all able to appreciate the importance of both the topics. Okay. இதில்லாம அதில்ல அதில்லாம இதில்ல. So exam question will be coined like this only. We can do a lot due to paucity of time. I have a clear schedule for closing it today, your place of supply. So because of that reason, we will move forward from here. Now, before me stepping into place of supply, have a very clear understanding when section 12 will be applicable. Section 12 talks about domestic transactions of place of supply in case of services. Sir, நடுவுல ஒரு section விட்டுட்டோமே. ஆமா. Section 11 of IGST Act talks about import and export of goods. International taxation. அடுத்த topic. இது domestic taxation. So 10 and 12 domestic transactions. 11 and 13 international taxation. 10 for goods, 12 for services, domestic. 11 for goods, 13 for services, international. So that is the distinction broadly the law brings. If this be the situation, if this be your situation, points for our discussion here are section 12 of your IGST Act comes out and discuss about if location of supplier and location of recipient. If location of supplier and location of recipient is going to be in, if location of supplier and location of recipient is going to be in India, then section 12 will be applicable. One fundamental understanding is rendu perum location of supplier and location of recipient should be in what? India. If location of supplier and location of recipient in India, then only you will use 12. Now, why I'm highlighting is, see, many times your location of supplier and recipient will be in India, but performance might be outside India, event might be outside India, immobile property outside India. என்ன கர்ம வேணா இருக்கலாம். Don't be bothered about it. If location of supplier and recipient, one fellow outside India, don't come to 12. It is not covered by 12. Then where it is covered? 30. What word here you see as and, there it will be as or. ஆர்னா ரெண்டு பேர்ல யாராவது ஒருத்தர் இந்தியால இருந்தாலும் அது அப்ளை ஆகும். இங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் இந்தியால இருக்கணும். சப்ளையர் ரிலையன்ஸ் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் லிமிடெட், recipient Tata Consultancy Private Limited, Tata Consultancy Limited. Both of them are what? In India. So location of supplier and location of recipient in India, then the service will be determined only as per section 12. Now, here a small understanding you should have. What understanding I should have, sir? Uh, I'll take you. 1 minute. Just a minute. Now, what I'm trying to discuss with you is very simple. Uh, generally, generally, location of recipient is going to be the place of supply. Generally, for all services, now my contention is very simple. You have a list of specified services, two lists of specified services. I'll begin my discussion like this. Services relating to, in fact, we will go in certain chronological order. Uh, renting of immovable property services, then followed by after your renting of immovable property services, all those specified services. Outdoor catering, personal grooming, healthcare, uh, healthcare service, uh, fitness, beauty treatment. Okay. Then admission to event services, specified services list two. Sir, why you are calling it as list two? Maybe another 3 minutes later, all of you will understand the logic behind it. In fact, I would recommend you to draw this diagram. Of course, I'll share it to you at the end of the session. But my recommendation is you draw this diagram, consciously draw this diagram. Training and performance up, appraisal services. B, organizing of events. C, transport transportation of goods. D, transportation of passengers. E, banking and financial services. F, insurance services. G, now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what is that you are trying out of this list in case we ask me? See, this is a super diagram. A diagram like this is not drawn by anybody till now. Okay. So let me repeat it like that. See, normally, normally, normally location of recipient is place of supply for services, provided if it is not covered by provided if it is not covered by list 1 or list 2. Now our intention is this, that's all. If it is not covered by list 1 or list 2. If it is covered by list 1, then sorry, it will not be covered. If it is not covered by list 1 or list 2. So point here is generally place of supply is location of recipient. However, if it is covered under list 1, and the rule apply agadu. If it is covered under list 2, that rule is not applicable. ஏன் சார் எல்லாத்தையும் ஒரே லிஸ்டா போட்டுடலாமே? இல்ல, அதுல ஒரு சூட்சமா இருக்கு. அதனால தான் அதை பிரிக்கும். லிஸ்ட் 1 தனியா few services, லிஸ்ட் 2 தனியா few services. End of the day, understand this logic. You will have 7 services in list 2. You will have 5 services in list 1. So 7 plus 5 gross ups to 12 services. So 12 are specified services, no doubt about it. But there is a 13th entry. Now this 13th entry says, if a service not covered by list 1, not covered by list 2, then it will be covered by general entry. Now let me ask the question. You all will instantly share me the answers. Okay. Now I am going to be waiting for you to get your answers in the chat box. Now, company secretary services, where it will come? General or company secretary services is a general place of supply rule will be applicable, or specified supplies will be applicable. எல்லா பேரையும் கொடுத்தாச்சா? அந்த பேருக்குள்ள தானே இருக்கணும். Now, question is before you. Quick. It should come in general, or it is covered under any of the specified services. See, I will groom you over a period of time. Let me repeat it. This is one of your very important topics and connected with 2-3 other topics. So be with me, come with my speed itself, that is sufficient. See, உங்களுக்கு சில நேரம் சார் என்ன சார் எனக்கு தான் புரிஞ்சிருச்சு பரவாயில்ல, but be with me at that pace. It is conscious. Yes. So company secretary services, quick. Where it will come? Will it come under general entry or specified entry? Is it a specified entry or a general entry? Specified na list 1 la varuma, list 2 la varuma, அடுத்த கேள்வி. ஓகேவா? So இதுதான் கேம். Now let me take it up a next question. Sir, my services is transportation of goods by road in a lorry. So I am providing GTA services. GTA services, transportation of goods by road in a lorry. Where it will come? General or specified? Specified means list 1, list 2. Where it will come? Good. Specified services, list 2. Good. அவ்வளவுதான். சார் இது எதுக்கு சார் நான் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்? See, understand. First, this section discuss about is when general rule will be applicable. If it is not covered by specified services. When you get into the PPT, when we discuss about this, at that moment it will strike to you that these fellows are how much worst fellows, because